Are they more like an off-day bye-week practice because you don't have a game this week, or is this a game week?
Yeah, this one's a game week. So we practiced Friday, Saturday. That was more like you're saying, a bye-week practice, and then we're in the game week.
With you talked about Justin on that Friday before the Big Ten title game, and obviously the toughness has shown, and he was limited in practice that week. Has that still been the case for him last week? How close do you think you can get him back to full mobility by next week?
Yeah, no, I think with this rest, he's going to be at 100%.
Second row rep, Tony?
You've already talked quite a bit about the recruiting, and how much, I guess, reassurance have you had to talk to the defensive backs specifically? No names, obviously, but just reassuring them that things are going to be fine and you'll have somebody.
Yeah, with the guys on our team. Yeah.
With the recruits, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. Talk to those guys, every day for the most part, and the response has been good. It's been great, and certainly they're disappointed that they're not going to get coached by Jeff, but they're excited to sign. They've been great. It's been really positive. They understand, this is an unbelievable program that's on the rise. We have a great defensive system, and there's great opportunity in the back end next year. Guys are going to be coming in with an opportunity to play, and so that's exciting. So they're excited to be here, and they're excited to find out who's going to coach them, but they will in time. But I promised them I'm going to give them the best situation possible to make sure that they can reach other dreams and goals, and that's the whole idea, is that they committed, to me as the head coach and to Ohio State, and they understand that, and that's been the response.
Do you expect all 5 of them to then sign on this week?
I do.
And then lastly, are you expecting to sign 2 quarterbacks this year?
I don't know. Yeah, we're still working through that. But here's the deal. Right now, we want to make sure that we have, 4 quarterbacks in that room, at least 3. And so that's something that's not easy to do. And so we're trying to figure that out. And like we said before, with the quarterback situation, it's tough to make sure we have that. But we have to make sure that quarterback room is solidified moving forward.
Right in front, Joey?
Ryan, one of the reasons people say quarterbacks are able to play right away, freshman, sophomore, so earlier in their careers is quarterback training growing up. Justin, Trevor, they both had private quarterback coaches in middle school, so did other quarterbacks. With Justin, did you find him be a big benefit from that, to becoming polished? Just what's your sense on how much that may have influenced him growing up?
Yeah, I don't quite know. I know that he was exposed to, a high level of football, just in terms of his understanding of situations of playing the game, of coverages, things like that. Pretty good coming in. Didn't know our offense and hadn't played, but he wasn't raw coming in. I thought they did a good job. Again, the most exciting thing about Justin Fields is he still has a huge ceiling. I can't wait to work with him again in the off season and keep growing from here. But he certainly, in order to play the way he did this year, he had to come in with a certain level of foundation, and he did.
What beyond just at the mental side, what about mechanical, footwork, things like that?
That's all stuff we're gonna look at in the offseason.
And just with the recruiting, or with Brendan White, he went in the transfer portal last week. Obviously, if guys go in the portal, they're still allowed to come back, and because you might lose a lot of guys in your secondary. Is he leaving? Would you consider bringing him back? What's just the status with him?
I don't know.
Third row right, Rob?
So you're crisscrossing the country the last, 4 or 5 days, doing award shows and whatnot. How hard is it to remain in the moment? I assume you hear the clock ticking for
Right.
this game coming. To be there for the guys and not be thinking ahead to the game. Is that a challenge, A, and B, do you have iPads and you're looking at things while you're on the road? Just talk about, I assume you don't just put it aside those 2 things.
Yeah, no. Right after the game, after we got done with the selection show, Joe loaded up my iPad full of film, and when I was on the plane or in the hotel room, we had time, was watching film and trying to get ahead, and so was the staff. But that's not easy to do when you're out there recruiting and you're just running from place to place and airport to airport. Like you said, award show to award show. But you just do the best you can with it. You're not going to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. You wish you had another week, but they don't either. So they're dealing with the same situation. So again, we just want to maximize the best we can and handle it better than they do.
And the second last thing here is, they have two games on Chase now where he's been okay, but not like he was earlier in the season, at least to our eyes. What can you do differently with Chase and moving forward here into this game?
Yeah, I think there's all kinds of different things you can do, but at the end of the day, if they really want to slide and chip and put 3 guys on them, then it's going to be hard. That's where the other guys have to step up. But again, anytime they decide to do something like that and put extra resources into stopping chase, they're giving up something else. And so, our defensive staff will be looking at that and try to figure out, how we can get a schematic advantage.
Did teams try to do that early in the season and just didn't have the personnel, or is this sort of just a last 2-game phenomenon? Or are you surprised it didn't happen early?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of 2 things. I think they had a year's worth of film, and I think that they did a good job scheming it. But then also, those are good teams now. They're top 10 teams with good players, and so I think it's a combination of 2 of those things.
Over to the right, Clay.
You said it's a game week. Is the game plan in on Clemson?
That's this week. So today is like a typical Tuesday practice for us. So Tuesday's first, second down, Wednesday's third down red zone, and then Thursday's kind of our polish. So we're into a Tuesday right now.
You were in the room when Joe Burrows made that speech, and as a result of what he said about Athens and Southeast Ohio, I'm seeing on Twitter he's raised like $60,000 at food pantries, etc. He took that thing to a whole new level, did he not?
Yeah.
Beyond the game.
Yeah.
In his response, how you've talked about him ad nauseum, but
Right.
it's damn impressive.
To be there and to experience that was one of those things. I'll remember till I'm 80 years old. That was as cool a night and moment as I've ever been around, because Joe, although he thought that out, that was just him being himself. And for him to go through what he's been through, play the way he's played, see the emotion of what this has meant to him and his family, unbelievable. Talk about class. There's not a classier guy out there, and I was just humbled to be in the room and just to be a part of his journey.
Last 2 reporters' questions. Front row right, Bill.
Yes, is Cory Dennis going to Colorado State? Can you make that official and confirm it?
I don't know if they have or not yet, so I don't want to blow him up, but
We'll take it
I
as
know he
yes.
has a chance.
Al Washington's name was brought up. Do you foresee any other coaches leaving? Is that, do you think the staff is going to be intact other than obviously Jeff?
No, I'd be surprised if that stuff happens. Yeah, I think we're in pretty good shape, pretty solid, and not heard of anything otherwise.
And in terms of the recruiting class on Wednesday, it's considered top 5. How good do you feel about that? How much uncertainty is there going into Wednesday?
No, I feel great about the class. And I know, you can get in the top 5, top 3, you start to, figure out who likes a guy, who doesn't like a guy. And we know sometimes those are really accurate, sometimes they're not accurate. But I know this, we're going to sign a really good class this year, and really excited about it. Really good people, really good prospects.
And final questions. Front row left, Doug.
Ryan, you'd obviously worked with Mark Pantoni as an assistant here in recruiting, but can you describe sort of how you guys, how your relationship has worked this year, him understanding your vision of how you want to go about recruiting, and he worked for Urban almost his whole life, and now he's working for you. How have you guys worked together to shape this class?
Yeah, well, I think I just have a tremendous amount of trust in what Mark's opinion is, the way he works. I kind of let him run the personnel department is the best way to put it. And that's recruiting. There's a lot that goes into that. It's not just evaluating. That's a big part of it, but that's only some of it. It's everything else. It's the organization of recruiting trips, the organization of weekends, it's the organization of the staff, where we put people, the recruiting, everything. He does it all, and organizes the numbers, and so the amount of trust that I have in him is off the charts, and what he's done this year and helped put together this class, you can't put a value on that.
And just thinking about the class you're pulling together now, when you arrived here in January of 2017, Ohio State was about to pull in a class that was number 2 in the country. That you see all the 2017 guys that are driving this team forward right now. Do you remember what you thought of, when you got here and you saw, hey man, Chase Young's coming here, and then you get Jeff Okuda. Just what did you think of that class, as that's what the first class was when you got here?
No, I mean, I know that when you're at Ohio State, you're going to get top recruiting classes, because you have kind of first pick, and yeah, you have to go recruit them, you have to evaluate them, you got to do a great job with them. But at the time, just coming in, I never realized that they'd be this good of players. I mean, you talk about some of the great, J.K. and Jeff and Barron and Chase. Great players, but better people, and the leadership that they brought is unbelievable. And so that staff did a great job bringing these guys in.
And last thing, you made it clear from the start with this defense. You said you wanted to make sure you had a four guy front, but it feels like today you're talking more about your overall defensive philosophy with cover 1 and cover 3 and the single high safety. It seems like more than we've heard you talk about it before. I don't know. Moments like this when you are turning staff over for the first time, is this a moment where a coach does have to make clear, like, guys come and guys go, but this is what we are, this is what we do? It just feels like to me you're maybe making sure that everybody understands that today, what this Ohio State program, not just offense, but in totality, really is.
Absolutely, yeah, because that's what it comes down to, and I couldn't really have those conversations in the preseason or in the spring, or I didn't really want anybody to know what we were doing. And so as time has gone on, now it's on film and people know what our identity is, and it's been great. But it's what you said. I mean, we've recruited defensive linemen at a high level, so we want those guys on the field. And then, based on the experiences that I've had as an offensive coordinator, and then calling plays, I think that gives us the biggest struggle is that kind of defense. And then you mix that in with the guys that we're recruiting and the guys that we have now, I think it's a great fit. Linebackers, safeties, corners, I think that puts stress on the defense. And do I think we'll evolve as time goes on? Sure. But that's the philosophy, and those are the conversations that I had with those guys when they came in. That's why, Greg is here, and that's why Larry's here, and that's why Al's here. Those guys are all 4-down guys. And then, Jeff was a cover 3 guy coming from San Francisco in the Seattle Pete Carroll cover 3. And that's what I want to do moving forward. And those are the reasons they're here. They didn't come in here to go run something they didn't have a background in, and that's why we targeted those guys. And we'll continue to do that.
Great. Coach, thank you very much.
Thanks, Ryan.
Okay, folks, we'll migrate out to the indoor field for some individual interviews. Keith, would you mind taking this down for me? I got to bolt and get some players. Thank you. Yeah.